So it's time to go get some new fish. Apologize if I sound a little weird in this video and I seem a little sleepy. I couldn't stop sneezing early this morning. I'm finally getting over that. And at the same time, everything under the sun, from the cat to the cow to the bird, everything kept waking me up last night. And no, I don't have a cow. On a serious note though, I gotta go get some gas and then I'm gonna turn around and go pick up some goldfish that I got in from a supplier. So it's gonna be interesting. Well, I got the fish. There's 5 of them in the box in my truck right now. They look great, and I can't wait to get home and get these guys in a tank. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to go ahead and get these fish acclimated and introduce them to the new quarantine tank. This is a 29-gallon aquarium they're going to be going into, but keep in mind this is a quarantine tank. They're not going to stay in here very long. I'm hoping less than 2 months. It all depends on the weather. I've done videos in the past where I show you guys how I acclimate goldfish. I'm not going to go into detail, but when you're acclimating goldfish, when they've been in a bag over at least an hour, you definitely want to take the method of floating the bag. That way the water in the bag becomes the same temperature as your tank water. And you don't want to go with the drip acclimation in this process because goldfish have a high ammonia level. When the bag is sealed and not introduced to high oxygen levels, that ammonia is binded up into a less toxic form. But when oxygen goes into the bag when opened, that ammonia transfers and turns into a toxic form of ammonia, which can be deadly to the fish. So it's best to acclimate them by temperature and then just go ahead and put them into your aquarium. The water chemistry shouldn't be that drastic and goldfish are very hardy. But when it comes to ammonia, that's very deadly and even the hardiest fish can fall upon that. Now, last night I filled up the other 29-gallon that's above this 29-gallon. That's why there's a little bit of sand on the glass. I should have cleaned that beforehand and I apologize for that. So as a precaution, I want to do something that I always do when I introduce new fish, and that's add a little bit of stress coat. I actually do a slightly overdose. Now this is a disclaimer, I don't recommend anybody going out there and overdosing any type of medication. That can be very deadly or hazardous, or it can have some type of bad effect. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for our aquarium, so I highly suggest you guys follow the directions on the bottom. So these fish are becoming quite active when only being in the aquarium for less than an hour. And I couldn't believe I'm actually seeing a little bit of chasing in the aquarium. If you don't know what chasing is, the males will chase the female goldfish when they're ready to spawn. Usually he'll push them up in a corner or where rocks are at or in plants. She'll disperse her eggs and then he'll release his stuff and the eggs will become fertilized. So that's really great because in the springtime, I actually want to try breeding these guys. So after seeing these fish becoming active and actually chasing each other, I went ahead and introduced some food to these fish. I fed them some New Life Spectrum flakes and goldfish. It's not a problem. A lot of people will tell you that flakes are a bad thing for your goldfish. I guess it comes down to personal preference, but you've also got to understand the concept of people not liking flakes for goldfish is the fact that they say goldfish will go up to the surface and gulp at the flake, and at the same time they suck in oxygen and they can lead to swim bladder diseases. One thing you have to understand with goldfish are going to go up to the surface and gulp air even if there's heavy aeration in the water column just because they want to. That's their own free will. So either you feed them flake or not, they're still going to go up to the surface of the water and gulp air. Now, even though this aquarium or quarantine tank has 3 blacked out sides and heavy filtration, I definitely wanted to go ahead and introduce a little bit of live plants in this aquarium just so they can hide behind something, and at the same time, if they want to eat vegetation, they can go ahead and eat that plant right there. I've got plenty of it. I was talking to the ex-owner of the local fish store, the current owner's father, today, and we were swapping a couple of stories and talking about Wakin Goldfish and other events and stuff like that. And it's funny how Wakin were actually very popular 20-30 years ago, and now they're slowly coming back. He was telling me stories on what you could pay wholesale for a Wakin Goldfish and now what you pay for a Wakin Goldfish wholesale, it's just a drastic change in price. It's supply and demand. Wakin has become more of a rarity. Wakin used to be very common, just like your Arandas and your Morse and any other type of fancy goldfish that you see today. My 5 Wakin are going outside this spring when the weather breaks. Keep in mind this 29-gallon is a quarantine tank. So when the weather breaks and these fish go outside, probably in my 365-gallon pond for now, then I'll probably move them into a bigger one later on, I plan on spawning these fish and successfully raising the rear. Now, what am I going to do with all those fish? Well, I'm going to be putting them up for sale for you guys. Wakin Goldfish are getting harder and harder to find, so I want to make sure that the community has a chance to experience these fish as long as they're going to good homes. So I hope you guys like the Wakin Goldfish. You're going to be getting several updates throughout the spring and the upcoming months, and as long as I continue to house them, which is indefinite right now. So now I have a question for you guys. You're going to decide next Sunday's video. Do you want to see the seahorses finally? Or do you want to see where the 125 gallons been all this time?